Unfortunately, cyber criminals are winning. They're on the rise with new scams and very creative ways of stealing your money. That's what it is. It's theft. One scam in particular allows criminals to steal money by accessing your social media messaging platforms through various means and posing as you, and then going through your contacts to ask for or requesting financial assistance, and they do it in very crafty ways. So we've got SABRIC CEO Kalyani Pillay here this morning to hopefully arm us with the tools we need not to be scammed. And this is a difficult one because it seems so real and authentic. Maybe your best mates or close friends will phone you after they've received a message and will kind of see a red flag. But for your broader base of contacts that you've got on social media, if they time this at the right time, if those scam artists are clever in the way that they structure that, you'll feel like, oh man, this poor person, I want to help them. So how is this playing out?
The issues of where the perpetrators are getting access to enough of your personal information to enable them to either guess your passwords to your social media platforms, or they, through other means, whether by phishing or smishing or vishing, phone calls, purporting to be somebody else, and to be able to get sufficient information around you. But also, Graham, we forget about the fact that they often send out emails that have malware or spyware linked behind it. And so while you're busy on your social media platforms using that particular device that's now been infected, everything that you do on them is replicated and goes through, has access to, the criminals get access to it. So what they do in this particular instance is that they get access to the social media platform, they have access to all of your contacts, and then they send out a communication from your platform so that it appears to be you who's sending it out, saying some kind of story, usually something very sad, something traumatic happened, and you just need some help and some financial assistance. And unfortunately, some people respond. So, the fact that some people respond makes it lucrative. You just need 1 out of 100, or, I suppose you must just be wary of any message that's coming to you relating to money, I think is always the watchword here. It's just... Absolutely, and I think you've hit it right on the head in that you said, pick the phone up and call the person who you think it's coming from and find out what is going on, because the important thing also is that you could be alerting them to the fact that somebody has now hacked into their social media platform.
So taking a step back even further, how do we protect ourselves in this space? What's the first kind of way to arm ourselves?
I think it goes right back to the fact that, and this is not only in respect of this particular scam, it's in respect of how we live our lives these days. Protect your identity, your personal information, your confidential information. Don't just answer the phone and give somebody random asking you for information.
No bank will ever phone you, ever.
Or even if it's someone purporting to be a software, because that's been one of the quite prevalent things that's been happening. Somebody calls, they say they're technical support for a particular software company, usually someone that's known to us, and that they are busy assisting with getting security patches loaded on devices. So please, can you go on and you do it yourself? We'll just talk you through it. And they allow you to go and download malware, which you don't even realize that you're actually doing. So, be wary of all of that. Do everything you can to always protect your personal information, your confidential information being your bank stuff, your PIN, your login details. And just be mindful of it at all times. Where are you putting your information out?
Is that the kind of starting point with all of these things? If we see a red flag, if we see something that doesn't sit well with us, is to talk about it. Because if we all just kind of ignore it, then you're not helping the next person in that.
Absolutely. And I think if you're not sure, pick the phone up and ask, and call your bank even if you have to, and ask, is there something, or call a technical company that you are familiar with, someone who you trust, to get some advice. Get somebody to come and check your device out, but don't do it with just anybody. It needs to be somebody.
If they phone you and ask to check your device out, then don't.
Put the phone down.
Then don't do it. I know it can be a big, scary world out there when we look at how many opportunities to be scammed there are, but just a bit of logic and thinking clearly about these things and just taking a step back sometimes, thinking before you act, especially when your money or your personal information are concerned, can make all the difference. Now, did you know that if you are not FICA compliant, you are exposing yourself to criminals that could potentially use your account to commit fraud? That's why you have to go through that process. So join us next week when Kalyani explains the importance of FICA and knowing your customers as a company. Interesting stuff.
We are brave, innovative, everywhere. We are SABRIC.